action. Hello. What's going on, you guys? My name is Octavia, and you are watching Off Script, okay? So this episode is about maintaining meaningful relationships, okay? And when I say the word relationships, I'm using that as it pertains to, whether you're in a relationship, with a partner, you're married, boyfriend, whether it's a friendship, whether it's a relationship with you and your sibling, or you and your mom, you and your child, relationships in general, okay? So before we get into like some little details and tips on things that we can do to maintain relationships, the first thing I want to say is take inventory of that relationship, because before we put in all this work, we need to figure out if we even want to maintain this relationship, okay? Because what's the point? And so as you're taking inventory in this relationship, think about the other person and what they makes you want to be in a relationship with this person. Is it because they're loving, loyal, or consistent? And when you think about those things, ask yourself, when is the last time I felt this thing? Because if you want to be in a relationship with that person because they're loyal, but you haven't felt loyalty from them in a couple years. And also, shout out to my cousin Visha. We were talking about this a while ago. And basically, it's like, ask yourself, like, how do you feel when you leave this person? So once you guys get together, when you leave that person, do you feel exhausted and tired? Or do you feel like motivated? You feel, excited, pumped up? Do you feel uplifted? Ask yourself those questions as well. Because if every time I hang out with you, I feel exhausted, then that's probably the last time I'm gonna be hanging out with you. And when you take inventory, look at the other person and look at yourself as well. Because is it a them problem or is it a you problem? Because at the end of the day, it takes two people to make a relationship work, but it only takes one person for a relationship to fail. So why are we talking about this? Why is this so important? Why do we even care about maintaining relationships? Why do we care to be around people? We can just be antisocial in our little bubble. Forget people. People who is people? Do some more research on your own if you like. But the University of Utah said, loving relationships are good for us because we live longer, heal quicker, have lower blood pressures, better immune systems, better physical health, better heart health, and we feel less pain. Harvard University did a study, and this study said that the lack of strong relationships increased the risk of premature deaths by 50%. It's equivalent to smoking 15 cigarettes a day. That went over some of y'all heads, so I'm going to say that last part one more time. You lacking strong relationships with other people is equivalent to smoking 15 cigarettes a day. So that brings me to the next part of this video, and that is what are we going to do to maintain these relationships? So we are going to put in the work. Why? Because relationships are built, they're not found, okay? Put in the work and build a strong foundation of this relationship. One thing we can do is put in the time, right? We have to put in the time to build this relationship, guys. We have to, go on dates. We have to meet up with this person, have intimate conversations and interactions with each other, whether that's FaceTime, on the phone, going for a hike, a bike ride, or going out for a dinner, lunch, brunch, whatever that looks like. But we need to, a part of maintaining these relationships is going to be having intimate moments and interactions with this person. Another thing is communication. Yes, we have to communicate. Not only communicate, we have to effectively communicate. A big part of communication is listening. And also when we communicate, we need to make sure we're communicating clearly, okay? We're not communicating based off what we thought or what we heard or what we assumed, okay? We're going to be communicating and speaking on facts and actions, okay? Meaning what you said and what you did, okay? Don't be coming to me telling someone, I heard this and I thought, no. Having clear communication. Let's talk about it. And Nat Turner said that good communication is the bridge between confusion and clarity. So let's get that good communication going so we can go from a state of confusion to a state of clarity. Another part of building this foundation is we need to set boundaries, okay? And don't get all hyped up and all sensitive about it. People really be feeling some type of way sometimes when you set boundaries. The only people who get upset about you setting boundaries are the people who are benefiting from you not having any, okay? So set your boundaries and make them clear, because boundaries are just, invisible line that you know not to cross, okay? So these boundaries are going to be things that you know what to do and what not to do. So let's say if you're in a relationship, a boundary can be we're sexually exclusive with only each other. Or it can be you're not calling me or texting me before a certain time, or you're not popping up at my house without giving me a heads up. Like, all of these are boundaries, right? And you set different boundaries for different relationships. My sister tried to set a boundary. She was like telling me and my mom and whoever else, she was like, don't call my phone on Monday through Friday before 9 o'clock and on the weekends before like 11 or noon. But because I respect boundaries, and I respect boundaries so much that literally for about a year and a half, I changed her name in my phone. It wasn't sister. The name I had for her in my phone was don't call before 9 o'clock. Like, that's me trying to remind myself, okay, this is the boundary she set, and this is what I'm going to do to remind myself to respect that boundary, right? So when people have boundaries, respect those boundaries. And that's how you know that's another reason, like, that's how you know you want to maintain a relationship with somebody. If you're setting boundaries and they're respecting them. If you're setting boundaries and they're disrespecting your boundaries, then cut it. And daring to set boundaries is about having the courage to love ourselves even when we risk disappointing others. And as we are trying to be these, great people who we want others to be in relationship with, here are some qualities that we need to possess and look for when we're getting in relationships with other people so that they can possess. So we want others to be honest, loyal, have humility, accountability. Accountability is important because we're not always going to get it right. So we need to be accountable. Yeah, I messed up. I apologize. Moving forward, what can we do? Okay, let's talk about it. Be accountable. Kindness, patience, empathy, forgiveness, showing genuine interest in the other person's likes and dislikes, consistency, fairness, selfless, respect, and integrity. Because there's just a person with integrity, it's just certain things they will and won't do. And these are just a list of qualities that I personally feel that if you want to maintain a relationship with somebody, either they should have, I think they should have it and you should have it. These are just my personal own little list. 1 Peter 4:8 says, above all, love each other deeply, because love covers over a multitude of sins. And I love that scripture so much, I got it tattooed on my foot. Above all else, love. So, another thing that we need to do if we want to maintain these relationships is we have to give grace, y'all. We have to give grace because, like I said earlier, we're not going to get it right every time. You're not going to get it right every time, and I'm not going to get it right every time. So we have to give each other grace. And when we do give grace, give it wholeheartedly. Let me tell y'all a little something about grace. And shout out to Shaquilla, okay? Because Shaquilla know a thing or two about grace. Y'all need to take a page out of her book. Let me tell you what Shaquilla did. My friend Brittany, right? So Shaquilla is my friend Brittany's sister. And so in the beginning of me and Brittany's relationship, like, we was, getting to know each other. We was like becoming friends. We was like, okay, we're going to do this, that. Let's hang out. Let's get to know each other. Let's have fun. Let's get out on the town. You know what I'm saying? Let's get out on the town. And I would hang with Brittany like sometimes, but not a lot, right? Not as much as I wanted to, and not as much, obviously, as she wanted to. But anyway, literally, she was about to cut me off, y'all. And mind you, like in the beginning of a relationship, you're building, right? You're building this solid foundation so that will carry you throughout the rest of your relationship. So in the beginning, you do want to have like all those qualities that I said. You really want to be strong in those qualities. I was not strong in one of those qualities in the beginning of our relationships. I was a little inconsistent, and not because I'm an inconsistent person, but because I had so much going on. I couldn't really be as consistent with her as I wanted to, whether it be text calls or meeting up or whatever else she wanted. I don't even really know, but anyway. Like as I wanted to. Mind you, like I was working full time, I was going to school, you know, and I was in clinical as well. So like I really didn't have that much time. I mean, I was still studying, working out, and meal prepping, trying to just be my best self. But you know, it's a lot to do and try to maintain your other friendships and build this new relationship. So she was about to cut me off. And what she did was she talked to her sister, Shaquilla. She was like, yeah, it's a no for me. Shaquilla was like, Brittany, I never met Shaquilla, by the way, so this is my interpretation of what Shaquilla said. Shaquilla said, like, where's your grace, sis? Like, dang, you know what I'm saying? Long story short, though, Brittany gave me some grace and continued to talk to me. And let me say this, you know, it'll be different throughout your relationship. And, you know, throughout your relationships, there'll be parts of the relationships where I need more grace, and there'll be parts of the relationship where you need more grace. So different parts of the relationship. And so, you know, at this particular part of our relationship, I needed more grace. So she gave me that grace, and to this day, we're the best of friends, y'all. That's my boo, that's my bae, that's on period, okay? That's on period. So that's like, you know, the story came together. I know y'all was like, where is this girl going? She showed me some grace. It worked out fine. We kept building, and that has sustained us throughout, and that's on period. So I'm going to end y'all with a quote. T.d. Jakes said, we have a tendency to want the other person to be the finished product while we give ourselves grace to evolve. So you guys remember, positive vibes only, be unapologetically you, and do what brings you peace and love. With love, I'm your girl Octavia. It's a pleasure as usual. Thank you guys for watching. Until next time.